Hey everyone, how is it going? I was posting on Instagram the other day, posting a picture of some new cards I had, which included some World Top Cut promos, and I realised I have not done a video showing off my Worlds collection in a long time, and I've added quite a lot of pieces to it since then, so I figured it was time for an update video. So Worlds, of course, refers to the Pokémon World Championships held from 2004 up until 2019, and then again in 2022, obviously missing out a couple of years for the pandemic. And each Worlds has had its own special card with special artwork to go with it, which comes in a lot of different versions. So let's get into it and we'll see exactly what I do have. So first up, we have 2004, and we have this Tropical Wind. This is a Black Star promo, as they all are. Nintendo Black Star promo number 26. Now, this was the only year that featured a completely unstamped spectator version of the card. You could just show up to Worlds, you didn't have to qualify, you didn't have to be on staff, and you could get a copy of this card, which is what this version is here. You can see it has no stamps or anything at all on it. In addition to this version, they did have a version which just had Worlds 04 stamped on it. That was the player's set that came in all languages. And then they had English versions which had the Worlds 04 stamp, and we either have staff, top 16, quarterfinal, semi-finalist, finalist. They didn't have a top 32 for this year, and they didn't introduce champion until much later. This year would actually be the hardest one to put together a set of the top cut promos for, because even though, there's only 4 of them compared to 5 or 6 in later years, this was the only year in which players only got their finishing level. They didn't get the ones lower. So for future years, if you speak to a champion or you speak to a finalist, you could buy a full run from them, because they would get champion all the way down to top 32, in TCG at least. Whereas in 2004, you would have to speak to a finalist, a semi-finalist, a quarter-finalist, and a top 16 in order to get all of the cards. Now, obviously, I don't have that or anything anywhere near it. The only other card I do have from 2004 is the staff version. I actually don't even have a player's set from this year, but those are way up in price now, so I don't think I will be getting a player's set from this year anytime soon. But I am very, very happy that I do have the staff version as well. So you can see there is the Worlds 04 stamp on the artwork. That will be on every copy other than the spectator version, including the player's set and all the top cut versions. And then down here is where the extra stamp is for non-players versions. So you have the staff, and then this is where the stamp up to finalist would go. 2005 saw us move to Tropical Tidal Wave, another Nintendo Black Star promo, this one number 27. So like I said, this one does not feature any sort of spectator version, so all copies will have this Worlds 05 stamp. There will be a set that has no additional stamps, which will be all the languages for the player's set, and there are staff and top 32 up to finalist. So the only one for the Tropical Tidal Wave from 05 that I do have is the staff version. The player's set, for this one is at least significantly cheaper than the 2004 one, but it's still not a cheap set. My goal for Worlds was obviously just try and finish off all of the staffs, and then I did have a goal of wanting all of the player's sets, but as I say, the increased prices has made that probably not possible, but I am still happy I do have all of the staff versions. Spoiler for the rest of the video, I guess, but the staff versions were my main priority. Now, interestingly enough, Worlds 05 did have another promo card, Black Star Promo 028 Championship Arena. So this was given out to all competitors at Worlds, but it wasn't stamped, as you can see. There's no Worlds 05 stamp, there's nothing to say what event it's from. This card was actually a bonus card, and it was slipped under the hotel doors of the people who were competing in the event, and it was in kind of a cardboard holder, so you can normally see. Mine has them, you might be able to see it. Running on the corners, you can see just there, almost every copy will have very, very fine features on 2 of the corners. Yeah, you can see it. It's not like a full crease. If you're just looking at the card, you can't really see it properly, but it's a very, very minor indentation where they were inside those cardboard holders. I think there are only a few of them I've ever seen which don't have those indentations, and I think at least one of those I know came from someone who didn't get it pushed under their hotel room door, someone who actually picked it up later from Pokemon. But even though, obviously I said it's not a staff version or anything, this is the only version of this card, so definitely I had to go ahead and pick this one up to make sure I had that gap filled in the Nintendo Black Star promos. Worlds 06 follows basically the same theme. You would have had an unstamped multi-language players version, plus staff, and top 32 up to finalist. This one is the last Nintendo Black Star promo one, and it is promo 036. This version, again, I don't have a player's set, but I do actually have a top 32 from this year. So This was just another random one that was able to add a little while back when it came up for a very reasonable price. You know, I know it's an unrealistic goal to be trying to get any full sets of World's Top Cut promos or anything, so I'm content with just picking up one or two here and there, depending on price. 2007, we are into the first Diamond and Pearl era Black Star promo. This is DP05, and we're once again back to Tropical Wind. So this is a year where the players set is actually quite hard to get. I think it's a lot harder than 05 or 06 or a couple of the later ones, just because this was a very, very small World Championships. I believe this was the first time that they held it in Hawaii, and because of that, they very, very heavily limited the number of invites. So rather than having, I think, 100, 200 people competing in each division, which I think they'd had at previous Worlds, it was capped at 64 competitors per age division, I believe. So a lot less players in this one, so that one is a bit harder to get a hold of. I do think there were less staff overall too, so I think this staff one may be a little bit rarer than 05, 06, 08, 09, that kind of thing. Obviously, same number of people making top cut, so the top 32 through to finalist cards would be the same rarity. But for this year, all I do have is the staff version. 2008 was once again at Tropical Wind. This is Black Star promo DP25, and as with previous years, you'd had a players set, staff, and top 32 through to finalist. I do personally just, again, have the staff one on this year, no other cards from this year. World 09, we are once again with Tropical Wind, and this one I do actually have a players set for. But here's something a bit interesting. You'll see that it's actually DP25. That's the same number as the previous Tropical Wind. All of the Japanese one doesn't have a number on it, but all of the other languages say DP48. DP48 is the correct number for this card from this year, but for some reason, 20% of the English copies had the number DP25, you know, just as by mistake. They didn't update the sheet. I think it was the first 8 rows on the sheet had the updated number, and the next 2 had the error. I know those numbers because I was speaking to someone who was working backstage at Worlds that year, and they said everything they went through had exactly 8 corrected ones and then 2 errors, 8 corrected ones and then 2 errors. So the only way that they could have been laid out in that configuration, given that these come straight from the printing place to Pokemon, is if it was the last 2 rows, or last 2 columns, on the sheet that had the error. So while I do only have the one players version, I have the rarer version of the players one because I have the error version rather than the corrected one. I am kind of hoping at some point I will be able to pick up an English copy that is corrected, just because I don't need to be buying the whole players set, because all the rest of the languages don't feature the error. It is only the English one. And from this year as well, I do have staff cards, and I do have 2 staff cards from this year. As you can see, one of them has the DP25 error, and one has the DP48 correct numbering. And if you watched my video when I went to see Dave Person and his collection, you will see that the error does exist at every stamped rarity level. So top 32 all the way through to finalist do have copies that are error as well as corrected copies. I think with finalist, it's either 2 or 4 copies have the error. So that finalist error is a difficult one to come by. Worlds 2010, we're onto the Heart Gold, Soul Silver era of the game. This is Black Star promo HGSS 18. This was actually the first Worlds that I was able to attend in person. Very, very glad I did. As I said, I've never missed a Worlds since. Now, you've probably seen these videos fairly recently on the channel if you did watch when I master setted the HGSS Black Star promo set. I did show these off then, but got to show them off again. So we have the players set here, first of all. So Tropical Tidal Wave in all of the different languages. And then, of course, let's move those here because we do have a big stack. We have the staff version. We have top 32, top 16, quarterfinalist, semi-finalist, and finalist, one of the rarest cards in my collection. They're a finalist Tropical Tidal Wave. So in addition to this being the first Worlds I ever attended, it's the first time I have a full, complete set of every version of the Worlds exclusive promo, and I'm very, very happy to have that. Worlds 2011, we hit Tropical Beach. This is the first black and white promo. This is Black Star promo BW28. As you can see here, I have the players set. It's Tropical Beach in all of the different languages. This one I'm very glad I was on site to be able to pick up from players there, because this card went crazy money-wise after the tournament. You see, Tropical Beach actually turned out to be a very, very playable card. Ross Cawthon, who came second, actually put his player's copy straight into the deck he used at the event. And because you could only get Tropical Beach by playing or staffing in the World Championships, and given the restriction that players in North America, or at least in the USA, can only use English copies of cards, this one and then all of the staff and top cut versions just went through the roof. The Japanese version as well, as players in Japan can only use the Japanese cards, that also really skyrocketed. Luckily, players in Europe were able to use any of the European languages, so if you live anywhere in Europe, you can use English, German, French, Spanish, Portuguese, Italian. I think that's all of the different languages they have. So those versions were not as way up there because, they weren't specific to certain countries, but the English versions, crazy. And of course, as I said, I do have every staff version. So Worlds 11, I do also have the staff version of Tropical Beach. Worlds 2012 was once again Tropical Beach. This is a Black Star promo BW50. I am assuming it was Tropical Beach again, just to try and kind of increase the supply of them a little bit. As I'm sure you can see by the banner behind me, I loved Worlds 2012. I actually got that banner while I was out there. And of course, I got another players set. I was speaking to some players there. I was able to pick up the players collection of Tropical Beach from Worlds 2012. World 2012 also featured a slight change to the stamped cards that we get. For the first time, they introduced the champion stamped card given out to the winner of each age division, or 2 copies, I believe, given out to the winners of each age division. And that would remain kind of the standard from Worlds then on. It would be top 32 all the way up to champion. Now, in addition to the player set, I do, of course, have the staff version of Tropical Beach, but also I have top 32 and I have top 16. Now, while I really, really wish I had this run all the way up to champion, because, first ever champion card, my run does end at top 16. But still, some very, very nice cards. We move to Worlds 2013, the first time Worlds was actually held outside of the United States. This was held in Vancouver, Canada. I did make the trek over to Vancouver, of course. And here you can see the players set. Some Bidoofs there. This one is Champions Festival. I should have mentioned that first. Champions Festival, Black Star promo BW95. We've had Champions Festival every year from then onwards, and to be honest, I personally think we're going to continue to have Champions Festival, just so there's not another Tropical Beach situation where they don't realise how playable a card's going to be, and then the supply is not there and everyone needs it. But I'm more than okay with the Worlds promo not being playable. The fact that we're getting very nice art tied to the area that Worlds is held in, I think just having that is enough. It doesn't need to be a playable card. And of course, I do have the staff version for this one too. No top cut cards for this one, just the players and staff one for me. Worlds 2014, we're into the XY era. This is Black Star promo XY27. And this is actually a special Worlds for me. This one was out in DC, and this is where I actually met Laura for the first time. We'd spoke a little online, and we met in person at Worlds 2014. She had supposed to have been coming to Worlds 2013, but didn't make it. But very special one for me. So again, as you can see, I have the full players set in all of the languages, and then staff card on top of that. World 2015, we have Champions Festival again, as I said, Black Star promo XY91 in this one. This one was held up in Boston, and this was the world at which me and Laura actually got engaged. So another happy World Championships for me. So as you can see, once again, a full 7-language players set, and then staff card to go with it. I think a lot of these ones we're just going to be showing off staff and players sets, but I'm happy to share the memories I have of the events. Worlds 2016 is Black Star promo XY176. You can see from previous generations how quickly the numbers are ramping up in terms of how many Black Star promos they were releasing. So, this one was out in San Francisco. This was the first Worlds I went to after moving to the US. I actually moved over in just the July, I think, and then we went straight over to San Francisco in the August to attend Worlds. So here I have full 7-card players set, as always. And then I actually do have quite a few extras from this one. So, I have the staff version. As you can see there, I have top 32 top 16, quarterfinalist, semi-finalist, and finalist. Sadly, I do not have the champion stamped from this one. I would have loved the champion stamped. It is a great artwork. I think this is one of the more popular artworks for Champions Festival because, it features those Kanto starters. And it being the first Worlds I went to since I moved to the US, I would have liked to have been able to get a champion, but sadly it was not in the cards, and now I don't think I could afford it, to be quite honest. But very, very happy still to have up to finalist on a very, very gorgeous piece of art. Worlds 2017 saw us out in Anaheim, and this one actually ended up being our honeymoon Worlds because we had an official wedding not long after I moved over, but then we had a nice big wedding right before Worlds 2017 so that all of my family and stuff come over, the families could meet each other, and then we decided, because it was Anaheim, we were going to go and have a Disneyland honeymoon, so we went to Worlds and then we went to Disneyland for a few days after that. And something else, if you're just looking for cards and don't care about my personal life, this player's set is one bigger for the first time ever. They added Korean to the player's set, just because they started printing Korean cards in that year, so they wanted to make sure that Korean players were represented at Worlds and they had their own card within the player's set. And then this year is another one where I just added the player's set and the staff promo to my collection. This card was in the Sun and Moon era and was Black Star promo SM78. Not actually sure if I mentioned that. Still in the Sun and Moon era with SM148, we have the Worlds 2018 promo from Nashville, Tennessee. Again, Korean stays in, and we have an 8-card player set, 8 different languages. Then on top of this one, I have a staff promo, I have a top 32, and I have a semi-finalist. This is the only one where I have some top cut cards where if I have multiple, they're not consecutive ones. So, the top 16 and the quarterfinalist are probably going to be ones I keep a little bit of a lookout for. Again, as I said, it is just depending on the price, what I can afford when it comes up. But it would be nice to at least fill the gap between those two, even if I can't go any higher. 2019, of course, was the final Worlds before they had to take a couple of years off. This was back in DC, and it is Black Star promo SM231, and this is one of the most gorgeous Champions Festivals ever, because as you can see, they're in an art gallery, and it actually contains the artwork of the previous Champions Festivals up on the wall of the art gallery. I think it's such a nice touch. I think that is a very, very nice artwork. So as you can see there, we have another 8-card player set. And again, I'm going to put them to the side because we have quite a few additional cards to show for this one. You see, I did get the staff promo. So I do have staff. As I said, every year I do have World staff. But for this one, I also have top 32. And I have top 16. And quarterfinalist. And semi-finalist. And finalist. Oh, and champion as well. This is the only Worlds where I have a full run from top 32 up to champion. Obviously, as I said, with 2010, I do have a full run, but it ends at finalist. That card, just didn't have a champion one. So this is my only champion stamped Pokemon card. I don't actually have champions from any of the other events they've done. Just World 2019, and I'm so happy that I own one. Whatever event it's from, I'm so happy that I own a champion card, and to have it to be from Worlds, I think it's cooler than from like an IC or something. This one is a very, very sweet card. Very, very sweet artwork. So in love with this one. And last up, we have last year's Worlds. We have Worlds 2022 in London, finally, after 3 years. So this is a Black Star promo, SWSH296. It actually ended up being the only Sword and Shield Worlds promo. There would have been 3, but 2 Worlds got cancelled. And you can see the stack is a little bit heavier because they printed a lot more languages of Pokemon in the 3 years that they were off. So we no longer just have an 8-language set. We actually have an 11-language set. You had Chinese, Thai, and Taiwanese to the languages that we get for the players' promos. I'm assuming that is going to continue going forward, but these are the 3 new languages that debuted at Worlds 2022. And then, of course, I did get the staff version. No top cut ones for this year. I actually really would have liked them if it had been possible because, it's Worlds, it's London. But we did spend a lot on getting to London. which limited the budget somewhat. But hey, I'm never going to say no for the future. We'll always see what happens. So that is all of the tropical winds, waves, beaches, and Champions Festivals that come associated with Worlds. But as I'm sure you know, those are not the only cards that come out at Worlds. There are also trophy cards. The trophy cards are the number 1, number 2, number 3, and number 4 trainer given out to 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th place respectively within originally just the TCG and then starting from 2014 within VGC as well. And it should be noted that while the extra events like Pokken and Unite and Go do get their own stamped festivals from Champion down, they do not get the trophy cards. These ones are exclusive to TCG and VGC. So let's take a look at my collection of trophy cards. So we'll start off with the earliest one. I have a 2007 number 1 trainer. This is the only one in my collection where I can't tell you exactly which winner this came from, because I did purchase this from David Perzin, who had purchased 2 copies, 2 out of the 3 copies of the World's Trophy that year. And luckily, way back when, he agreed to sell it to me for a very nice price so that I could complete my set. Then we have, from 2009, a number 2 trainer. This one, I do know who it was originally won by. It was originally won by David Cohen, a friend of mine. He sold it to another collector. The other collector then resold it a little while later and sold it on to me. I'm very, very happy to have one that I know was won by someone I know. Then my number 3 trainer is from 2011. As you can see, yes, they are just going up 2 years at a time. That wasn't totally intentional, but I'm quite happy that it happened. This one is from 2011. This one was won by Alex Kreckler. I'm sure if you're in Pokemon, you'll have heard of the Krecklers at some point. The family runs Yeti Gaming, and they run a lot of regionals throughout the year. So I did purchase this directly from Alex, or I suppose directly from Vince a couple of years after the tournament. And then finally, we have my number 4 trainer from 2013. Now, this number 4 trainer is a very, very hard card to get your hands on, because you see, Worlds 2013 was the first time they introduced the number 4 trainer. It used to just be 1, 2, and 3. The reason they introduced it is that prior to, I think about 2010, I think running up to about 2009, the 3rd and 4th place players had a playoff. So the losers of the semi-finals would go to play against each other to see who would be 3rd place and who would be 4th place. But they stopped that in, like I said, I think it was 2010 was the first year that they didn't do that. And it just meant that 3rd and 4th place would purely be decided on Swiss standing, so how you finished in the rounds before the cut. And, you know, since a lot of people go through with the same record, it meant that from the 2 people losing their semi-finals, one would be missing out on a card that at the time was worth, you know, $3,000 or $4,000, something like that, just based on something like opponent's win percentage, which really, really felt bad for the person who came in 4th. So they added in the number 4 trainer. It does share an artwork and everything with the number 3, but it meant that whoever came in 4th was not missing out on this trophy card. But the reason I say that the number 4 trainer is a very, very difficult card to get your hands on is because starting from 2014, they changed the design of the trophy cards. As I'm sure you'll see them now, they have full art trophy cards, which, you know, a lot of people love, and they've stuck with that design ever since 2014. That means if you want a half-art trainer set, 2013 is the only year that you can get the number 4 trainer from if you want a run of 1 through 4. So while it's possible for only 6 people to have a complete run from 1 through 4 in half-art, I think only 3 of us have done it. So David Perzin, obviously, he has all the trophy cards, so he has the 1 through 4 from 2013 and the 1 through 3 from all the previous years. And then Charlie Herlocker has a run of 1 through 4 just from 2013, very, very nice set. And then obviously I have them, but jumping around between years. So the story of getting this card is that it was actually at Worlds 2013 where I purchased my number 1 trainer from David and picked up the number 3 trainer from Vince and Alex. And I thought I was done. I thought I had a complete set, and then it was later that same day, right after I'd picked up the other 2 cards, that a friend of ours showed us the trophy case and was like, oh, we're doing something new this year, look at that. And then that left me with an incomplete set once again. Something else to note about Worlds 2013 is it's the first time that they staggered the finals. So, in previous years, they would play the Swiss rounds and some of the top cut on Saturday, and then just finish off all of the top cut on Sunday. in 2013, they changed it so that Sunday would be the finals matches only, ran back-to-back, which meant that the semi-finals were played on Saturday. I think there was actually one semi-final, which was the Masters TCG, got delayed and was run on Sunday, just because it was getting way too late. But what this meant was that 5 out of 6 copies of this card were given out on the Saturday, when none of us were expecting it, which meant that at Worlds on the Sunday, as well as trying to keep an eye on the finals, myself and David Persin, we're going around trying to buy his trophy cards, we're also desperately trying to get in touch with 3rd and 4th place winners from the day before. David luckily got his on site. I think he got his from Dustin Zimmerman, who came 4th in TCG Masters. Like I said, that did run on site that day on the Sunday morning, rather than running on the Saturday night. And while I was desperately trying to get in touch with VGC players and stuff to try and get myself a copy of this card, most of them had left the venue. They'd left on Saturday. They hadn't want to come back for the Sunday. They spent the day, just sightseeing Canada. And so I went back to England with obviously now having a complete set of 1, 2, 3, but not owning the 4. But it then turned out that a VGC player, a guy named Ben Gold, who came 4th in VGC Masters, lived about an hour's drive from me. So luckily I was able to reach out on Facebook and pick up this card with way less hassle than I actually thought it would be once I found out I was leaving Worlds without it. At the event, part of me had always been just, we can leave it till next year if I don't get one this year. Maybe I'll get a number 4 next year. And I'm very, very glad I did not wait because, as I said, they changed the designs. And then if I had waited, there's a good chance I'd just not have this card at all. Now, obviously, you can see I don't have any of the full art trophies. And the value of those has changed drastically since I was purchasing trophy cards back in the day. So they're probably off the table for the foreseeable future. But I am obviously very, very happy with these, as well as with all of my other Worlds cards. Let's show these all together. There you go. You can see the full run of 4 there, and you can see that the design of them does change throughout the eras to match the current design of the cards. One thing I really like is on the 11 and 13 versions, it has a play only 1 number 3 card per year, play only 1 number 4 card per year, because on the supporter cards that you get during that time, they have the reminder text of play only 1 supporter per turn. So I think that was a very nice little touch that they added to it. So that's it from me for today. Hopefully you did enjoy. It was a bit of a long one, but I think I had a lot of cool stuff to show off. So hopefully you enjoyed. Hopefully you'll join me again soon, whether it's for more looks at my collection, more pack openings, anything like that. And unless anything goes horribly wrong, I'm sure I will be able to update this video in August, September this year after we get back from Japan. Because at minimum, I will still be trying to get a hold of the players set and the staff card from Worlds. But hey, thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time. I would like to say a huge thank you to everyone who chooses to support me on Patreon. If you'd like to get involved, help support the channel, and see some behind-the-scenes content, click on the link in the description. Thanks again.
Thanks for watching. Check out some more videos right here.
And don't forget to subscribe for more awesome Pokemon content from DJ Gigabyte.
Gotta catch 'em all!